like beer? Do you love sports and beer? Then you're exactly where you need to be. This is the Huebs, Views, and Brews show on 1252 Sports Chicago. Cheers.
Hello and welcome to another week of Huebs, Views, and Brews here in the 1252 Sports Network. Welcome on in. We have a lot to do today, a lot to discuss. The NFL draft is over, thank God. I mentioned how I'm not a big college football guy, not a big college football watcher, so I'm listening to names that I've never heard before for 3 days. The Bears got a bunch of guys. We'll talk to Fat Mike about the Bears selections. We'll talk to him about some White Sox stuff and Cubs stuff, as Sox had a game earlier today. They got a victory. We'll discuss that. And it's the Sox and Cubs crosstown series, the two-game set coming up at Wrigley Field on Tuesday night. We'll discuss that, the pitchers for the two-game series, and we'll go from there. We had a great guest coming up later on today. Not only is Brent Benedict the guy that I've known for a while because of beer, because of him working in Noon Whistle, first in Lombard and then in Naperville, but Brent found out a while back that he has breast cancer. That's right. And so we'll discuss with him about that, how he found out. Nice little fundraiser that they had for Brent and male breast cancer at Noon Whistle this past Saturday. And I got a beer just for my interview with Brent, so we'll get to that and everything else. But it is Huebs, Views, and Brews. And because of that, I'm going to hit another one from New Glarus, okay? This is called Two Women, and it is they call it a country lager, a classic country lager. And I got a 12-pack from my in-laws, and I'm trying to drink it slowly but surely, and we're getting around to it here and there. And so there we go. Let's see. Two Women. It's funny, I was walking out of the restaurant I was with my in-laws at, where they gave me the 12-pack of New Glarus. As I'm walking down the street, two people, probably around my age, early 60s, maybe a little late 50s, they said, "Stop, give us your beer." They go, "We don't want your money, we just want your beer," because New Glarus is not sold here in Illinois. You have to go north of the border, or if you know someone going north of the border, they can bring it to you. So this is Two Women, a country lager. My guy Fat Mike's going to join us in a second as he's jumping around, and he's drinking already at Nick and Ivy. So this is really good, really tasty. It's in the 12-pack. There's also a coffee stout, and anybody that's listened to me for a while knows I'm not a fan of coffee. I don't drink coffee, never have drank coffee. I'll be 65 in 2 weeks. Never have had a cup of coffee. Don't like the stuff. But some coffee stouts I can handle. Other ones, not so much. And so we'll see it. Maybe later today I'll taste it. Maybe I'll check it later. I didn't want to do it on the show because I knew I would like the Two Women. Who doesn't like Two Women, you know? So this is really tasty. And again, I say I have another beer for when Brent comes on with us. A lot of other beer news we have. We got a lot of sponsors we'll get to. We had a lot of stuff coming up at 1252. We'll talk Fozzie football. We had our first kind of like a preseason, a Fozzie football preseason. We'll discuss that as we bring in Mike, Fat Mike. He is at Nick and Ivy for reasons only he can tell us. But yeah, he's at Nick and Ivy tonight, and he didn't plan to be at Nick and Ivy. But, you know, Mike, there's always, with you, every time the phone rings, there's always something new.
It's always something new. So as I'm sitting here hanging out, having a few beers with my buddy Paul, helping Nick and Ivy can up some beers and stuff like that. I go to leave. My tire is 100% flat, so it would be hot.
Yeah.
So now I can't strip the last lug nut. So what's gonna happen now is I got my buddy Matty coming on out. He's gonna come out with his compression drill. We're gonna get that lug nut off, put my donut on, and I can smooth sail home. So,
jeez, it's always something. It's always something, Mike.
Listen, when it rains, it's typhoons in my life, man. Let me tell you.
Yeah, it really does.
Not only that, my wife, she's sicker than a dog at home right now. She has COVID again.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So since
And
Christmas, my wife and I, we have had COVID twice.
and she
Each.
just celebrated a birthday. And
Yesterday.
yeah, so that was, obviously not the way she wanted to celebrate it, but hopefully she'll get better. Hopefully she'll feel good and get better quickly. The White Sox trying to get better quickly, and I guess if Dylan Cease could pitch every day, that would be fine. Because Dylan Cease today, he looked Cy Young style. He looked like a Cy Young Award winner today, the way he pitched. He goes 7 innings, throws 93 pitches, no runs, 1 hit, no walks, and 11 strikeouts, including Mike Trout 3 times. And,
Yes.
that's what we're looking for. I saw a thing, I don't know if you saw this. There was a post on Twitter from Rick Sutcliffe, and he said, for those who still say that the Cubs never develop pitching, just check out the White Sox box score today. So, and the funny thing is,
throwing shade. Rick Sutcliffe throwing shade.
He has always said, when he was working with the Cubs and Cease was in the organization, he had said Dylan Cease is going to be the guy. And Dylan Cease had to prove it to me. The last couple seasons still wasn't where he could have been, but last year was pretty good. And this year he's come out pitching great. He's now 3-1 with a 248 earned run average. Pitched really, really well today. And the Sox get a much-needed victory. 3-0. They split a 4-game series with the Angels. Yep.
Listen, Fred, I think I was talking with you or Harry, one of the two, our cohort here over at 1252. I was talking with Harry the Greek or yourself. I forget whom it was. But I said Dylan Cease is going to be the next Cy Young winner in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
He has absolutely filthy stuff. And it showed today. 3 strikeouts against the best hitter in baseball, the best pure athlete in baseball, Mike Trout.
Yep.
Made him look stupid 3 times. I mean, he didn't throw Mike Trout a fastball until he had to.
Right.
Because he understood it. And, the one thing I said to you at the beginning of the year when we were talking baseball before the season even started is that Dylan Cease is to gain that confidence to go on out there and, hey, listen, my stuff doesn't just work against Detroit. It can work all over the place. It can work across the board. It can work against the Angels. It can work against the Red Sox and the Yankees. It can work against anybody else in the American League. And I finally feel like that mustache is bringing him confidence, and he's kicking ass and doing his thing. I love this kid. He's unbelievable.
Well, and, yesterday the White Sox were down 6-0. They scored 5 runs on Sunday in the 9th inning, had the bases loaded, and then Gavin Sheets bounced out to end the game. And today they win. They scored 2 runs in the first inning. Tim Anderson's starting to hit the ball. He's going the other way. Luis Robert had 3 hits today. Moncada, he hit a homer in one of his minor league appearances. They're hoping to get guys back. But Dallas Keuchel's still on the team. And he's just walking people. But the nice thing is, Johnny Cueto is looking good down in their minor leagues. I would not be surprised if Johnny Cueto comes up and becomes that 5th starter when Lance Lynn comes back and Giolito and Kopech, who goes tomorrow. They're going to need all this stuff because right now their hitting is kind of non-existent. They're just scoring enough runs to win a game or 2.
The only guy who's really hitting in that lineup right now, unfortunately, it's Tim Anderson. I love this kid.
Yeah.
He is just a gamer. I mean, I didn't realize how much I love him offensively. I can't stand him defensively.
He's not very good.
Man, does he kick the ball around a lot. But Gavin Sheets too. Gavin Sheets is starting to come around. Unfortunately, he got dinged on the hand. He's out a couple days, right?
Oh, you mean Andrew Vaughn? You're talking Andrew Vaughn. Got dinged on the hand.
Yes. Got beat up on the hand a little bit in an at-bat. He will be back. They said he was ready to come off. I was listening to Connor McClellan today on ESPN. He was able and ready to come off the bench to pinch hit if need be.
Right.
But let that heal. And Tim Anderson, though, man, this kid, man, can that kid play?
Yeah.
And I love his energy. And I'm not, me, man.
Wow.
If I was in my office right now, you would see 2 Cubs flags behind me here, my big Tito's board above me, layers of Cubs stuff. But this Tim Anderson kid, I didn't realize how good he was until I took him on a fantasy team. He is unreal.
Yeah, once he's going to right center, not only with deep fly balls, but also going hitting line drives over the second baseman's head. That's when he's hitting the ball well. I think in the last 2 years, he's had the highest batting average cumulatively over the last 2 years in Major League Baseball. So
Yes.
and I know
Yes.
people don't care about batting averages and stuff like that, but he's done very well.
do.
Yeah, I do too. And today was also a big day for Liam Hendricks because Liam Hendricks came in the ninth inning. He wasn't taking crap from anybody. He struck out the side, including Mike Trout. So Trout struck out 4 times in the game today. Liam Hendricks was pumped up.
They call it the golden sombrero, Fred.
Yeah. And Liam Hendricks was pumped up. And then also the third run they got was Jose Abreu circling the bases from first base on a double by angle down the left field line. And Jose, when he was rounding third and got that wave home from Joe McEwing, he just started yelling, and he got to the plate and he slid in safely. And you know what? They can get him going, get him start hitting. They got the hitters. They know they're going to be.
I'm not going to lie. The way that sequence went down, like you said,
yeah,
the little blooper base hit gets in there, and he sends Abreu from third. Every step that Abreu took from third base on, in my mind, was Abreu's hitting the IL.
Nah, he's fine.
No, it wasn't the way he was running.
Right.
It's just the way the shit. It's the way the shit is hitting the fan for the White Sox.
Oh, sure.
That would be it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like another nick in your belt, another notch in your belt to slow the White Sox down this season. And that's not what you need. It scared me a little bit when they did that.
Yeah. And the thing is, they don't get hurt running to home. They get hurt running to first. They've had 3 or 4 guys in the last 2 years get hurt running to first base. So anyway, Hendricks pitched well.
Awkward slide at home. His awkward slide. I mean, come on. I was waiting for torn labrum.
Well, and so there were a couple things we saw in baseball. I mean, watching the White Sox games yesterday, the first base umpire, Sean Barber, got overturned 4 times. His calls got overturned on review 4 times. Not a great day. And then he's behind the plate today. In the first inning, Dylan Cease throws a pitch in the strike zone, in the box, called for a ball. And I said, this is not going to be good for Sean Barber when they review his series with the Sox and Angels. As it turned out, as game went along, he got better. He was calling pitches well on both sides, was giving guys the low strike for the most part. So that was okay. But the White Sox continue with the warning track fly balls. And people talk about the baseball, but you know what? The baseball's flying out against the White Sox. People are hitting home runs against the White Sox. So I don't think it's the baseball when it comes to the White Sox not hitting homers. I just think that we always say this with the Sox games and on the South Side. Once the weather gets warmer, the ball flies out of that place. Right. And, hopefully they'll get that in the next couple of weeks. That and they don't take pitches. They don't. Jake Berger drew his second walk today of the season. Tim Anderson, A.J. Pollock, Luis Robert, and Josh Harrison all have just 1 walk on the year. They don't take pitches. They're not a not good on-base team. And a lot of things with the White Sox, they have those stats, when you hit 1 homer, you hit 2 homers. Basically, when the White Sox hit 2 homers, they win so many games. It's crazy. Right. But they've not been doing that. So we'll see how things go. They got a tough month coming up because they got the Cubs now, but then they've got they have the Red Sox, they got the Indians, they got the Yankees. It's not going to be easy for the next couple of weeks because the Yankees are playing really good.
It's not the stretch for the White Sox here.
No,
the month of May is going to definitely be a tough stretch for them. That's for damn sure. So,
yeah. There's no doubt. And then
as I'm moving, getting everybody seasick.
Yeah, you're fine. We can see your head fine. The Cubs are 9-13. They had the day off today. They won the last game against Milwaukee, and they get the White Sox the next 2 nights. It's Kopech against Smiley on Tuesday, Giolito and Hendricks on Wednesday. And no matter where the teams are in the standings, it's always a fun series when the Sox play the Cubs. And you froze up. You got a wonderful picture of you with a cigarette dangling out of your mouth. So we will continue to go on and keep talking. Hopefully it's you that froze up and not me. So the Cubs are struggling. Their starting pitching is what's struggling the most with them. Hendricks 1-2 with a 5.47. Stroman 1-3 with a 5.13. He finally got a win on his birthday the other day. Steele's 1-3 with a 5.50 earned run average. Smiley's 1-2 with a 2.79 ERA. And Leiter is started 3 games. He's 0-1 with a 7.84 earned run average. So the Cubs pitching has been slow to go. They've not been getting the hits they need. They've not been getting production. Wisdom hit his 4th homer. Schwindel's a little bit slow to come around. They need some help from Ian Happ. Hayward's there, but he's never going to give you much. I thought we saw a really cool thing earlier in the week when Contreras and his brother exchanged the lineups at home plate when the Cubs played Atlanta. That was very, very cool. One of the cool things you get to see in baseball, where 2 brothers grew up, came to this country, and are now playing Major League Baseball. That was very, very cool. And Wilson Contreras has always been one of those guys, as a White Sox fan, I would love to have on my team. Wilson Contreras doesn't take crap from anybody. Wilson Contreras plays the game hard. Sure, he could be a better hitter. Sure, he could be maybe a little bit of a better defensive catcher. But he's a better defensive catcher than Yasmani Grandal. There's no doubt about that. And so it'll be interesting. I love watching the Cubs Sox series. And the next 2 days at Wrigley Field should be a lot of fun. Are you there? Or are you still froze? Oh, you're still frozen.
You there?
Yeah, you're getting better now.
Yeah, sorry. I got an incoming phone call. It threw everything all off.
Yeah, that'll happen. So before I get away from baseball and talk a little bit of football, the Reds are 3-19. That's the worst start in franchise history, and the worst start in a 22-game start since the Orioles in '88 when they went 1-21. And a team that had Cal Ripken Jr. and Eddie Murray, and they went 1-21 to start the season. The season started late because the collective bargaining agreement, one of the things the players wanted is for teams to stop tanking. And what the Reds do? They got rid of half their team. They got rid of Winker. They got rid of Suarez. Joey Votto's the only guy even recognizable on that team anymore. And it's a shame because I know Cub fans hate the Reds, but Cincinnati's a great baseball town. So it would be nice if they could actually do something. I guess the son of the owner talked about maybe they'd sell the team. People were saying, well, who wants them? You know what? They're the Cincinnati Reds. They were a dynasty. I know, in the 70s. You were just a thought. You weren't even a thought back in the 70s.
No, I wasn't.
No. So that's sad to see. But there's good baseball being played everywhere. The Mets are playing well. There's a great game, I think, going on tonight. Atlanta's playing the Mets, and you got Max Fried going against Bassett. That should be a good outing. Yep. Another game later on tonight.
I'm watching it right now. It's on MLB Network.
Yeah, I can't. I wanted to make sure that my Wi-Fi is good, so I didn't want to have anything else on in the background. So, but yeah, so baseball's fun. Baseball's early in the season, and I know it's early. After the game today, Liam Hendricks was said, he used the old line, April showers bring May flowers. He's trying to say, hey, we scored 5 runs in the 9th inning yesterday. We get a win today. Hopefully this is the start of something. So the White Sox had their first losing month other than a shortened month because of COVID since 90. No, not 90, 2000. So they've been playing pretty well, and for them to play as bad as they did in April, that was pretty sad. But let's talk about the NFL draft, because unlike me, I'm sure you were riveted to the NFL draft. And I've heard a lot of people today, the talking heads, the radio guys, the TV guys, talking about what Ryan Poles and the Bears did. Before I say anything, what is your opinion of what Ryan Poles did, not having a first-round pick, and how he came out of his draft?
Listen, he turned 6 picks into 11, 5 picks into 11. I'll take it. And with the cornerback and the safety, they're still new to me. But I Kyler Washington.
Kyler Gordon from Washington and Jaquan Brisker from Penn State.
Jaquan Brisker. These are the 2 picks that matter.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 picks that matter. And you know what? They could have drafted a wide receiver. They could have drafted an offensive lineman. But tell you what, guys, they still need a cornerback. They still need a safety. They're filling holes that are needs immediately. Both these guys are going to be starters from day one.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I've been a huge proponent of over the last couple of years is don't draft anybody who doesn't make an immediate impact. Plain and simple. Both of these guys will make an immediate impact. Both because they'll be starting immediately.
Yeah.
Because if you can't beat out Kendall Vildor, there's a fucking problem.
Yeah.
I can beat out Kendall Vildor, and I'm 310 pounds. I can beat him out at safety or cornerback any day of the week.
Well,
he sucks.
Then the third pick they made is a guy named Velus Jones Jr. He's listed as a wide receiver from Tennessee, but he's a special teamer. Okay,
right?
He was able to return, and they need a guy. They need a guy to return kicks because they really have. The last couple of years, they've had guys, they've lost guys, things like that, and they're not around. But before the draft, they signed some free agent offensive linemen. They signed some free agent defensive linemen. Then in the draft, they draft an offensive tackle out of Southern Utah. They draft a linebacker out of Miami of Ohio, a guard. They drafted a center, another guard. So they drafted for the offensive line. I got tired of hearing today people saying they didn't help Justin Fields. Listen, they have two running backs. They drafted another guy, Treston Ebner from Baylor, and you can pick up wide receivers. I think it's been shown around the NFL. You can pick up wide receivers out there. You can pick up free agent wide receivers. Listen, I know what Bears fans want. Bears fans want the Bears to win. You and I are smart enough to know that that's not going to happen next year.
No, it's not going to happen next year or the year after that. All right. This year, my plan is for the Bears. What I want to see is the Bears to go 4-13. That's what I want to see the Bears do. I want to see them suck. All right. Embrace the suck, guys. That's what's going to happen. All right. I mean, seriously, you got to look at this as a Cubs standpoint. Try not to suck. My slogan for the Bears this year is embrace the suck. Embrace it. Because next year you're going to get a high draft pick. There's a lot of talent that's out in next year's draft coming forward. A lot of big wide receivers coming out in next year's draft that can help Justin Fields. All right, that's what you got to do. Next year, you want your team to go from 4-17 to 7 and 7-9, 7-10, 7-10,
12 now.
No,
7-10,
17.
Yeah,
that's what you want to see. You want to see them take that step ahead. And then in year 4, now here's that make or break season that the Bengals took this last year. After they took Jamar Chase, after they beefed up that offensive line a little bit, after they beefed up the secondary, that defense a little bit. That's the role that you guys got to do. And I don't have one bad thing to say about Ryan Poles' draft this year.
Yeah.
He did what he needed to do. He got picks. He beefed it up. It's a team that has a lot of cap room right now. Don't spend all the cap on somebody that you don't need to spend the cap on.
Right.
Go out there, fill the holes you need, do what you got to do, build your team, and do what you got to do. That's what I like. That's like what I see.
You pick up a receiver, a veteran receiver that's out there. Bring somebody in to go play on the other side with Mooney. Maybe a guy with speed that can catch the ball. There are guys out there. They can pick somebody up. And I don't
want to see them go break the bank for $10 million, $11, $12 million for Julio Jones.
Right. That's not.
What does that do you? You signing Julio Jones, the same exact thing as you keeping on a Khalil Mack.
Right.
With Julio Jones, you're a 6-12 team. Or you know what I mean? You're a 6-11 team.
You'll get the numbers right.
Julio Jones, you're a 4-13 team. Leave it alone. What does it matter? What does it matter? It makes no sense.
It would have been so much easier if the NFL didn't add that 17th game. They wouldn't screw us all up. I think the Bears actually have 9 home games this year, I think, because you have 17. I think the Packers had an extra game at home last year. I think the Bears get an extra home game this year. So I'll be eager to see what happens when the schedule comes out, because the opening Sunday of the NFL season, we're going to have something special on 12:52. Because where you're at right now, we're going to have a good time all day long.
Yes. September 11th down here at Nick and Ivy, we're going to be having the tailgate for 12:52 for week 1 of the NFL season. Beers, pig roast, 2 sides, everything included. And every single TV in this place, I mean, every single one, there's TVs all around. I'm just going to do a full 360. I mean, TVs all over the place. There's the brewery, there's everything else. But we're going to be doing our live 12:52 kickoff for 12:52, tailgate for 12:52, and having a great time down here for beers, pig roast, 2 sides, the whole 9. It's going to be a great time down here.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And before I let you go, I mentioned the Sox and Cubs playing tomorrow, Tuesday, and Wednesday, but they're also playing at the end of the month of May, and we got something else going on May 28th and 9th over at Coach's Corner in Orland.
Yes, we do. Coach's Corner out in Orland Park off 143rd and 82nd Avenue. We're going to be hanging out down there, Fred, you and I. We're going to be hanging out doing a pregame and postgame of the Cubs and White Sox game that day. It starts at 1:10, and we're going to be hanging out with everybody down there, 50-50 raffle, the whole 9, beers. They have an amazing menu down there. Great wings. I was just there this last week, and I had quesadillas. The quesadillas are unbelievable. I mean, I'm a very Polish eater, so I just like meat. I like meat and cheese. You know what I mean? That's pretty much all I like. Yeah. The quesadillas there are awesome. They got a great menu. Their wings are phenomenal. And Kathy, the bartender down there, she's the best, man. She's fantastic. She's great.
Yeah, so we'll have a lot of fun. That's May 29th. We'll talk about it a lot more as we lead up to that. Mike, appreciate you jumping on as always. I got beer talk coming up. And first, we're going to talk to our sponsors for 2-3 minutes. And then when we come back, we'll have Brent Benedict from Noon Whistle talk with him about a lot of things right here on Huebs, Views, and Brews.
Brett, thanks for having me. I'll talk to you soon.
My pleasure, Mike, as always.
Hello, this is Paul from Nick and Ivy Brewing Company. We are located at 1026 South State Street in historic downtown Lockport, Illinois. We are very excited to be partnering up with the Fat Mike Chicago Sports Show, as well as the 1252 brand, because we are one of the few Chicagoland breweries that embrace sports and sports culture. Come in for a fresh brewed beer made right here in Lockport while catching the game of your favorite team. Stay for the live music that we have booked every weekend, or just come for a cozy atmosphere to enjoy a good conversation with a friend, loved one, or complete stranger. Nick and Ivy makes you feel right at home no matter what the occasion is. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook by searching for Nick and Ivy Brewing Company. Visit our website for our up-to-date tap list or to go shopping on our online store at nickivybrewing.com. That's NIKIVY brewing.com. Come in today for a fresh brewed beer born and raised in Lockport, Illinois.
Fuzzy football, are you ready, brother? Real football action on a glossy game surface played shuffle style.
Hi.
Hi, this is Kathy O'Connell at Coach's Corner, located at 8118 West 143rd Street in Orland Park. Our phone number is 708-364-1026. We are Orland Park's #1 sports bar. Come in for our wonderful beer menu and seltzers with a fully stocked bar. Watch a game, drink a beer, and try something off our amazing menu. We have everything to choose from: nachos, potato skins, and our house-made bar chips to start off with. Then try our tacos, burgers, and one of our delicious sandwiches. And don't leave without trying our famous jumbo wings. They do not disappoint. Coach's Corner. It will sure to become your local bar. Again, we are located at 8118 West 143rd Street in Orland Park. Come see us today.
Fuzzy football, are you ready, brother? Real football action on a glossy game surface played shuffle style. Slide a shuffle puck at pass or run targets, and a free mobile app keeps track of every game detail. Easy to learn, but this game of skill is difficult to master. Take care of the ball, or turnovers will kill your drive. The game is guaranteed to get your competitive fire burning, and it's perfectly sized to take anywhere. The park, a barbecue, your next tailgate, or fun at home on game nights. Fuzzy football is simply the best, most realistic and competitive game of football available anywhere. Add defense when your skill improves and take the game to the next level. The perfect mix of fast action and real football drama, where a last-second Hail Mary can break hearts or make champions.
We had a lot of fun with Fozzie football. We'll talk about that before the show comes to an end. I'll talk to Mike about that. But we bring in my guy from Noon Whistle, Brent Benedict. Brent, how are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Doing real well. I'm glad you're able to jump on and join me. I had a great time on Saturday. A lot of people coming out for the fundraiser at Noon Whistle. It was a good afternoon.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. That was it was a really good turnout.
Yeah, it really, really was. I think I've known you for about 4 or 5 years because I met you, I think, probably the first time coming into Noon Whistle. I know I was there with Chet Brett the first time, which doesn't surprise most people.
No, it doesn't.
No.
He knows everybody.
Yes, he does. He knows everybody.
Yeah.
And then during COVID and everything else, I know that I ordered some beers, and you and Matt Cation were there for a while and bringing them outside and things like that. And then one day, I mean, we'll talk about the Naperville situation and the facility out there because that's awesome. But then one day I'm looking at Facebook and I see all of a sudden you posting about breast cancer. And my girlfriend Linda and I watched a show called A Million Little Things. And on the show, Gary has breast cancer. And not a lot of guys think about those things. But unfortunately, it's something you have to think about because all of a sudden you found you had it.
It's true. It was a big shock to hear that I had it. But back when I was in 5th grade, I did a report on breast cancer and learned a little bit about it as a kid. Mainly because of Nancy Reagan. I'll date myself a little bit.
Yeah, that's okay.
But it was definitely a shock. But it was more of a realization that there's not a lot of programs out there for men to go after and seek help or someone to talk to or just know that you can get it.
Right. Well, did you know when you did the report, you probably found out during that men could actually get it. So, but I know that a majority of people a lot of guys probably have no idea that can happen.
Every guy I talk to says the same thing. Like, I had no idea that guys could get it. And I'm just like, all right, well, check your boobs, same time, check your nuts.
Sure. It's true.
Things, but, we're brought up not to do those things. So it's just getting awareness out and let people know, like, hey, it's possible.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, and I had working at ESPN, I had one of our good guys, Jeff Dickerson, pass away from prostate cancer, colon cancer, and things like that. And
I found out about the same time he passed away.
Okay, and then you had Eddie Olczyk, who got hurt, and was sick, and testicular cancer has been something that's been around for a little while. We knew about that basically from football players. The Bears had a couple of guys that had that in the past. And then when I got my cancer, I had never heard of large B-cell lymphoma. I'm leaving the doctor's office, and my wife's in tears. I go, "What's wrong?" She goes, "He said you had cancer." I go, "No, he said I got large B-cell lymphoma." She goes, "Hey, dummy, that's cancer." And I had no idea. I said, "Well, we'll figure it out." The beer, I always drink a beer during the segments, and the beer I have is the one that I picked up at your place the other day, the Thanks Cody. Yep. Real tasty. I walked in the other day. I had one, and then I had to get a 4-pack before I left. And we'll talk more about Noon Whistle, but I was talking to Chris from Imperial Oak, and he said, "Hey, if there's nothing else, Noon Whistle does hazies really well." And this is a really, really good hazy IPA. But explain why the beer, which has the ribbon on it, for those people that are watching, explain why it's called Thanks Cody.
All right, so so we have 18-month-old twins, and they're boy-girl twins. Cody, the boy version of the twins, has been fighting sleep since he was this big.
Okay.
And he's been kicking on my chest and everything. And it was about 6 months. They were about 6 months old, and I was starting to feel a lot of pain. So my wife took over responsibilities for putting Cody down. And then it was like 3 or 4 weeks later, the pain never went away.
Okay.
So I decided to go get checked out. So thank you, Cody, for discovering the problem. And that's how it all came to be.
Did you go when you went to get it checked out? Did you just go to a regular general practitioner?
Yeah, I just went to urgent care. I thought maybe,
Okay.
I'm 45. I thought maybe I'd had a heart attack or something, like I didn't know, and she saw something she didn't like, and that was just from an urgent care doctor. Scheduled a mammogram and a ultrasound, and they found the problem. So,
and you mentioned being 45, and we talked a little bit before that about, getting things checked out, and guys don't feel like doing that. And I wasn't a big fan of going to the hospital, but I've had run-ins with atrial fibrillation where my heart would get out of rhythm and stuff like that. So I knew that anytime something goes wrong, I'd go to the hospital. But it's almost like until something does, guys are always going to say, it's nothing. I'll figure it out. It's just a bruise. And
right.
It was good that you actually went. How long, when you first started feeling the pain, how long before that did you go to the hospital or have it checked up?
It was about 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay.
I'm also one of those believers too. We pay for health insurance. I'm going to use it.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I like to beat around the bush around it. Like if something's bothering me, I'm going to go get it checked out. I'm just lucky that my kid found it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And the beer's wonderful too. You had a hand in making the beer too. And did you get
it was a homebrew recipe I made about 4 years ago.
Oh, that's great.
That we scaled up, and it turned out really well.
And I mean, the people that were there the other day, I know they were flying out of the fridge there at Noon Whistle. We were having a good time. A lot of people, and we'll talk about the expansion because I had been there, and there's so many breweries, and I hit a lot of breweries, and I talked to a lot of people. I hadn't been at Noon Whistle for a while since they added on, and with the kitchen and everything else, it's a completely different thing. It's huge, and it needed to be big for the people.
Size.
Yeah. It needed to be big for the people that came out on Saturday, and everybody was enjoying their food and the beers. It was a great time.
Great. I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah, and then that whole wall with video games, that was bringing me back to my bar going days back in the 70s and 80s with all the video games.
Lots of pinball.
There definitely was.
Yeah.
So once you found out that you had this, what did they have you do? What was the way to take care of it?
The first step was I had to go get a bunch of scans just to see how far along everything went. So basically diagnosed with stage 4. Surgery is out of the question because since it's in my bones, they can't really remove it completely.
Mm-hmm.
So I get to keep my nipples, which is kind of cool, I guess. Even though I had tattoos picked out ready for when I lost my nipples, but
sure,
that's another story. But yeah, it's they had me go through a whole bunch of scans and a whole bunch of tests, and then figure out a chemo regimen that would work best for me. I got my last chemo actually next Tuesday. Is my last one.
Great.
Fingers crossed.
Yes, definitely.
So, yeah.
When you said scans, do you have a PET scan?
I had a PET scan, I had a CT scan, I had a brain scan, I had a bone scan. They kind of pretty much checked everything.
The PET scan, I explained to people because if you've never had one before, you probably have no idea. But I'm sure it's probably similar, where they give you the radioactive glucose and it puts you in a room for 45 minutes. Don't do anything, just sit there. Go to the bathroom, and then they run you through a scan for 20 minutes. And it's the weirdest thing in the world. And when I had mine, they knew all the glucose went right to my spleen. So they knew my cancer was in my spleen. They were able to take it out, and fortunately, they got all of it. Did you have to go through radiation also, or just chemo?
As far as I know, radiation's out of the question, just because it's in my bones and there's no really getting rid of it.
Okay.
It's just going to kind of be there forever.
Okay.
So I'll have to go through maintenance. at least for a year, every 3 weeks. Right now it's every week that I get chemo. But the maintenance, it should be easier.
Right.
But my side effects will be a lot less during the maintenance phase of things. Right now, I'm just thinning a little bit,
Sure.
But
But
I wear a hat. It doesn't matter.
You always wore a hat, though, didn't you?
I always wear a hat. It doesn't matter.
Right.
But I'm just fortunate that I don't have to have surgery, and so far so good with the chemotherapy. Everything's going well. So yeah.
Did you have bad reactions during the chemo?
Not really. The only main bad one was like kind of like an irritable bowel. That was pretty much it.
Okay.
Where it was kind of like a roller coaster ride of like fast food, not fast food.
Sure. I got you.
To kind of put it in perspective.
Yeah.
Other than that, my taste buds were a little weird for a while.
Right.
My palate, which I rely on for my job, was a little jacked up, but it's come back around. I think we've lowered the amount of steroids that I've been taking.
Okay.
So my palate's kind of come back to a more normal thing. I couldn't handle spicy food, but I'm getting back to spicy again. So
did you miss a lot of work?
Not really. I purposely scheduled my chemotherapy around when they said my side effects would kick in.
Okay.
So right now I'm only working 2 days a week anyway because I'm home with the babies.
Sure.
The other days, stay-at-home dad's like the best job ever. As hard as it is, it's a fun job.
Yeah.
Working 2 days a week, doing line cleaning on Monday at both locations, and then Wednesdays in Naperville. I was lucky enough not to really miss much. I think I missed a couple days for appointments early on when we were still trying to figure stuff out.
Sure.
But other than that, I've been go. My worst side effect day is Friday.
Okay.
Friday's like the one day I don't want to get out of bed.
Yeah.
But it's fine.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's great. I'm sure you told the story a million times on Saturday with all the people that were there, people that hadn't heard it already. You probably had to tell them a lot of again. Now you started at the Noon Whistle in Lombard. Actually, Paul Ibnick from Nick and Ivy said he used to live in Villa Park, and he'd see you there when he lived there, and he'd see you when he came on by. So they opened in Naperville. What is it? More than a year ago now?
It'll be 2 years in September.
Okay.
So, yeah, a little over a year and a half.
And basically you said you clean lines at both, but then you work Wednesdays out in Naperville.
Yep.
And
I bartend in Naperville on Wednesdays. I've held almost every position at Noon Whistle.
Sure.
I really like the bartending. I like talking to people. I like guiding people through our menu. And talking about beer. I mean, that's what they pay me to do.
Well, I was out there about a month ago when you were releasing something on that Wednesday, and I went out there, and there was, every seat at the bar was pretty much taken, and you were doing that, going up and down, explaining what was there, what was, what people were looking for, because I was shocked because if I'm not mistaken, if I remember it right, do you have 28 taps in Naperville?
We have 26 in Naperville and 30 in Lombard. Yeah. It's a lot, and it's a lot to remember. I remember when we used to have just 11 lines, and that was hard to keep up with sometimes, where I'd have to study a little bit before I went in. Now I feel like I need to study all the time. Because we're constantly changing and adapting and trying out new things, new techniques, and it's just fun to share those experiences with people.
If someone asked you about Noon Whistle, the thing that I would think of, and I'm going to ask you, but if they said, what is Noon Whistle known for? What's the one thing you would say?
We're known for our IPAs and our sours. Gummies are pretty much what put us on the map.
Right. That's what I would have said, the gummy series.
It's what keeps the lights on. We do make a lot of other stuff, though. We make a lot of really good lagers. We have really good Czech Pilsner called Brewski. That's really tasty. We've got our Liesel Weapon, which is a German-style Hefeweizen that took bronze at GABF. We've got some sours that have won at events like FOBAB. So we do other things as well.
Right.
But
Yeah.
the gummy series definitely keeps us where we're going.
When they first started, I mean, the Lethal Weapon's been out for a while. You guys have made that for a few years, several years. Because I know I've had 4-packs of that. Cause I love Hefeweizens and things like that. But when they first started, were they more hazies and IPAs, and then they added the lagers, or did they have pretty much a pretty equal mix as when you first got going?
When we first started, we were trying to be a session brewery. Which means anything below 5%.
Gotcha.
So you could wet your whistle at noon was kind of the shtick,
sure,
as it were. We noticed that our buddy beers did a better job at moving through the market. So one of the first gummies we did was an anniversary beer, and it just kind of took off. So
you had the day I was there with Chet. And I know it was a special day because it was a big crowd there. I can't remember what it was for. And like I said, it was about 4 or 5. It had to be about 5 years ago. But you guys had a hazy with some kind of pepper in it, maybe a habanero. That got me back here.
Gummy. Yeah, Ghost Face Gummy. Yeah. So that one started. We had a regular that grew a lot of hot peppers. And, and that's how that one started. It was just a blend of hot peppers from him. And it has kind of like a cult following, so to speak, because because it's spicy but it's sweet. It's kind of like the Sour Patch Kids of the gummy series.
Sure. No, it was. How did you first get started in this in the whole beer thing?
Well, I started working for Rock Bottom Brewery back in like 1999. I was working at the Warrenville location, and then kind of just got into beer that way. My career took me into a beer buying role for a restaurant group, and I was actually camping up at the bar at Noon Whistle, meeting reps and conducting business.
Sure.
At Noon Whistle. And one day they were just like, "Hey, do you want a job?" I'm like, "Sure, why not?" Almost 7 years later, here we are.
That's great. That's great. And the Naperville location. It's big. It's a large facility. It's for those who haven't been there yet, and I had only been there once when I saw you a month or so ago. But it's not far from Solemn Oath. It's not down the street from Solemn Oath, and I know there's a couple other things around there. There's a lot going on. How has that one taken off? Because I know obviously the Noon Whistle in Lombard has been wonderful. How's the one in Naperville done?
Naperville's been doing well. Obviously, opening during a pandemic is not the most ideal situation.
Sure.
But I think we've done pretty good. Carryout was definitely a huge driver early on. But now that we've been open to the public, it's been nice. We still get a lot of people that come in and be like, "I didn't even realize you were here. I got stuck in traffic and I saw the sign," which is great. But it's been doing well. I know that most of our production's coming out of Naperville. So, we're keeping busy with, filling orders and stocking coolers. So, but it's been getting a lot better.
When they first opened in Lombard, was opening a kitchen always on their mind, or did it just the way things were going, they just figured that was about time?
We noticed that we were losing a lot of people to go get food. I think was the driver on that one. Being just a minion myself, I have no say in any decision making whatsoever. But from what I know, we just saw a lot of people getting up to go out to eat, and I think having a kitchen has been a really good thing to keep butts in seats. For lack of a better word, just to keep them drinking our beer and have a bite to eat. Because I know when I go out to eat or when I go out for beers, it's nice to have something to eat.
Right.
I get the munchies after a couple. Like I want like a salty something to pick at.
Right.
So, but yeah, the kitchen's been doing really well. Brunch has been a huge success for us on the weekends.
Yeah.
Bottomless beer mimosas will do that. So.
Is there before I let you go, there's one other thing I want to ask you about, but is there anything else that's coming up at Noon Whistle, either one, Lombard or Naperville, that's coming up that you want to talk about?
I mean, we're about to get diving into summer. Our Summerfest is going to be coming up here in June. We usually get live bands, and we get lots of food trucks.
Sure.
We'll put the tent back up, which we've gotten away from because now of indoor dining again.
Right.
We've got we've always got new beer coming out.
I see you got one coming out. I saw Noon Whistle put out a thing called, you got a collaboration with Bitter Pops coming out in cans only, coming out on Cinco de Mayo, called Story of My Life.
Also a cancer-driven beer.
Yeah.
Bitter Pops, they're great people. I don't know if you've ever been to either one of their locations, but
in the city, I was in one of them. Yeah.
They do a great job of with community involvement. They lost one of their coworkers to cancer, and so they reached out, and we were more than happy to do a collab with them. It's just more ways to just spread the word and let people know that they need to get checked out.
Sure. Yeah. It's they had told me after I had my colonoscopy at 57, which I was supposed to have it earlier than that at 55, and now they say even earlier than that. They said you're good for 10 years, so I'm 65 in 2 weeks. But I think I think I might wait, to do it right before that. I don't have to wait the full 10 years. Because as you get older, you never know what's going to happen, and you kind of like
never know.
To stick around.
Yeah. We'd like you to stick around too, Fred.
Yeah. Well, it's fun. Yeah. I love, like I said, people go, why do you do that with all the beer? I said, because I love going to all these beer places. And I was at your place the other day, and I met guys from Workforce, and I'm going to have them coming on. And I got a bunch of other people. I know Chet and John Brand have a thing coming up with the mental health and the beer that they've been working on. That's coming up on actually 2 weeks from tonight. They're doing a release at Open Outcry, so
nice.
It's great. There's so much wonderful.
I was talking to Chris at Imperial Oak and Chet. We're supposed to be getting together on the 18th to brew a beer. So always fun time.
It is. It definitely is.
The community's great.
Yeah, it's really wonderful. Brent, appreciate you. I'm glad you're feeling good. I cannot wait to see you again. I get out there on Wednesday, and Brent will explain your beers to you. If you have any questions out at the Noon Whistle in Naperville. I appreciate you jumping on in.
All right. Thanks, Fred.
Thanks, Brent. We'll talk to you later. Cheers. Brent Benedict from a Noon Whistle. And amazing. Men can have breast cancer, and he's been battling it and doing quite well. And it's great to see because Brent's one heck of a guy. I think we're going to take another break if we can. Or otherwise, Mike can tell me no. And I got a couple beer things, and then I want to talk to Mike about Fozzie football. So if we can, let's hear from some of our sponsors while I drink some more of this. Thanks, Cody, Hazy IPA from Noon Whistle.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Darren, licensed real estate broker with Coldwell Banker Real Estate Group in Homer Glen. Are you looking to buy or sell? Have you been disappointed in the past? The Jonathan Darren team with Coldwell Banker Real Estate Group focuses on providing you with a concierge level of service during the process of buying or selling. We are a service-oriented team with a fresh and professional approach to selling real estate. Our goal is to combine knowledge, skills, and passion to exceed our clients' expectations, and most of all, we truly care. We are a knowledgeable real estate team focused on offering expertise and innovative solutions for our clients. The Jonathan Darren team has 5 full-service real estate brokers and a dedicated full-time marketer servicing all of Chicagoland. We will customize a detailed plan around your timeline for a sale, purchase, investment, estate, or other needs. Real estate transactions can be stressful, but don't need to be. Let us handle it for you. Visit our website, homesbyjdt.com, or call 708-308-1938 today. Expect better in real estate. Choose the Jonathan Darren team.
Megaplex Sports Complex is a 78,000 square foot center filled with hardwood and turf. They have baseball rentals with batting cages, softball, soccer, lacrosse, gymnastics, cheerleading, cornhole, basketball, volleyball, and pickleball. It also features a bar and grill with the best pizza and beef sandwiches around. They cater to events such as birthdays, graduations, corporate parties, as well as memorabilia shows. Check them out at Megaplex Sports Complex, 15301 South Bell Road in Homer Glen, 708-966-4210. Okay, and the Megaplex was great. We had fun at the for the NCAA tournament. I met my buddies out there for the final. How did North Carolina blow that again? It's long gone. It's history now. I mentioned that 2 weeks from today, John Brand from Open Outcry and Chet Brett, they're going to be doing a beer release at Open Outcry Brewing. I will not have a show 2 weeks from today because I will just be coming back from Boston. I'm going to a beer fest with my buddy Larry and his daughter Chrissy. We all share the same birthday, May 15th. We're going to a beer fest in Boston. No baseball, just a beer fest. And whatever else whatever other trouble we can get into in Boston for a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So, but I will not be doing a show on the 16th, but I may run out there. And now they're going to do some other things on the 18th, as you heard Brent talk about. A couple of beer things, and I'm going to get Mike back in here. But first, I mentioned Noon Whistle and Bitter Pops. They have a collaboration, cans only, called Story of My Life. And it's another cancer-driven beer, and it'll be available at Bitter Pops and at both Noon Whistle locations coming up on Thursday, Cinco de Mayo, May 5th. Arrowhead Ales, which we don't talk much about. They're in New Lenox, and if you've ever been there, they make great, great beer. They have 3 beers coming up. They got an anniversary. Their 6th anniversary is coming up on Saturday. This Saturday, May 7th, they have a rum barrel-aged banana coconut stout. God, that sounds good. They also have a West Coast IPA coming out, and they have a strawberry kettle. Cannot read my own writing. A kettle soured golden ale, and those are coming out on Saturday. They have their anniversary on Saturday. They're in New Lenox. Check them out. Great, great beers in New Lenox. Arrowhead Ales. Alter Brewing, which has their facility in Downers Grove, just south of the tracks in Downers Grove, and then they have their place in St. Charles, which I've not been to, and I know they make food. They must do food really well, because I saw a thing online that Alter Brewing they've broken ground in Oak Brook for Alter Brewing. What's it called? Brewing and Kitchen. Alter Brewing and Kitchen. They've broken ground on 22nd and Spring Road, not far from the Gibsons, right there in Oak Brook, and they're building a big facility there. Beer and food. Cannot wait. Alter Brewing doing really, really good stuff. We got to get the guys from Alter Brewing on here soon. Talk about all the things they're doing. I should head to St. Charles and get out there first. But the problem with St. Charles is there's like 5 or 6 breweries. We had 93 Octane on, and there's so many other ones out there, Riverlands and Art History and all these other breweries that I need to have someone take me. Maybe I'll call Kirk from the Brews Cruise, and we can do a whole thing, maybe more than 2 or 3. Maybe we can do a 5-person thing on a Saturday, maybe a longer one. Maybe Kirk's watching. We can work on that. And one other thing, tomorrow, Goldfinger Brewing, my guy Thomas, and they do a great job over there. I stopped over there the other day because my guy John Jacoby, one of the beer drinkers in the area, guy I've run into at Skeleton Key. And he said, listen, Goldfinger's got a great Bohemian Pilsner. You got to check it out. And I did. So I went out there. I talked to Tom, and they have a cask tapping. They didn't announce what their cask tapping was going to be. Now, what the cask tapping is at Goldfinger is about a month or so before they're going to release the beer. They pull out a cask of that beer that they're going to release in a month, and they let you taste it. They let you try it. And this is as close as they'll come to a hazy, because they're lagers and pilsners and things like that. But their New Zealand lager is going to be cask tapped on Tuesday, May 3rd, around 5:30, I think it is. I'm hoping to be there at that time. It's going to rain all day tomorrow. So if nothing else, I can get out there and get on in. They've got their tents up again. It's great. When I stopped there, all the seats under the tents were filled. I walked right inside, talked to Tom, talked to his wife, saw their lovely baby. She is so cute. And had a great time. But that's coming up tomorrow on Tuesday for those listening to me now. Or if you're listening tomorrow morning or whatever. So the cask tapping Tuesday, May 3rd at Goldfinger Brewing around 5:30, the New Zealand lager. Now, if Mike can jump back on, if he's not changing a tire or doesn't have an air compressor in his hands right now. Is that an air compressor in your hands, or is that something else?
It's a beer.
Okay, that's a good
It's a
thing.
beer.
So
It's a beer.
I get together with you and Paul and 5 other guys, and we did basically, I guess you'd call it a Fozzie football preseason.
Preseason, baby. Preseason for Fozzie football.
Yeah, and we had fun. My very first game, me and Luke, I beat Luke 5-3.
You know what? This is the kicker, Fred. I'm glad that you're laughing about this, okay? Because I spoke with the owner, Steve Braun. The guy is absolutely amazing. The inventor and creator of this game, this Fozzie football. But at the end of this conversation, if you don't mind, Fred, I'll run the clip one more time.
Yeah, that's fine.
But these guys are absolutely amazing, right? I mean, Steve does a great job with everything that he does over there at Fozzie football. He shot me a text message. I sent him a bunch of pictures of us playing the game, you know.
Yeah.
And he responds back. He's like, any last minute finishes? And I was like, no, not at all. I was like, but there was a 5-3 victory. He gives me a call, and he is laughing his ass off.
Yeah.
He's like 5-3. I was like, yes, it was 5-3. I'm like, I didn't even know. I'm like, it's almost like I don't even know who won. It's so irrelevant.
Luke and I were enjoying ourselves. We kept turning the ball over. We kept missing on field goals, all kinds of things. And, so that was the first game we played. I played another game. I won like 38-30. And then I played the last game. I got beat 50-9. And the guy that beat me, he had 5 touchdowns where the puck just hangs over the edge but doesn't touch the wood. And for those who don't know the game, you'll figure it out and you'll learn and watch more on the clip he runs. But 5 times he did that. And it's like, what the hell? How do you do that 5 times? And but it's fun. It's great. We're gonna be there every Saturday. So if you're watching,
you gotta take some Fozzie football lessons.
Well, if you're watching or listening now,
Sunday.
Yeah, come on out on Saturday. Watch us play Fozzie football, and maybe we can get into a B league or something. Mike can put you together in a B league or something. Maybe you can fill in for one of us as maybe you can fill in for me.
The B league is for people with 9 or less fingers.
Yeah. It's a fun game. And it's quick. 15 minutes. We played 3 games, and after each game, we had a beer. The app is amazing. There's an app that comes with. You go download a free app, and the app you gain a 2. You put it on the app. It keeps track of everything. It's a 15-minute game, and it's a lot of fun. We had a great time. I cannot wait.
Awesome.
Every Saturday at Nick and Ivy, we're going to be playing.
Every Saturday, we're going to be up here at Nick and Ivy playing it. And Paul's already said he wants us to. Paul over here at Nick and Ivy wants us to grow into something that's more than just our league.
Sure.
So people are interested in wanting to do this here, and Paul's willing to host it and do everything like that. So it's a lot of fun, man. It's a lot of fun. We had a blast up here. Paul and I didn't even play. We just sat with everybody, teaching everybody. So it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. A great time. Sox and Cubs. I would say we're making a wager, but it's just only 2 games. I mean, 2 games of Wrigley. I'm guessing the White Sox hit about 6 homers in 2 days. What do you think?
Against the Cubs?
Yeah. Hendricks is going
2 games.
Hendricks is going on Wednesday.
6 homers in 2 games.
Yeah.
I'm taking the under for $5.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
6 homers, 2 games.
Ball wants in.
You'll let me in on that.
Okay.
They're about to get rained out tomorrow.
Well, maybe they'll play 2. Well, if it's rained out, we can't continue.
No, you and your stipulations. What's going on around here?
So but it should be fun. Hendricks has given up homers a lot. I ran down earlier when you were out. I ran down all the Cubs starters: 1-2, 1-3, 1-3, 1-2.
Yeah.
So they got to get some pitching. They got Smiley and Hendricks the next 2 days.
I was talking earlier. You know how big my family is in baseball, Fred. I mean, you met my dad.
Yeah. He loves the National League. Yep.
It's nothing but baseball. I am so sick of watching Kyle Hendricks pitch. It's not even funny. every batter that sees a ball from him has to look like a volleyball. It has to, because he is getting shell-shocked.
Yeah.
Start after start after start, and I'm tired of watching. Really,
he's not pitching well. Hey, but you got the National League Rookie of the Month, and Seiya Suzuki. So there you go.
Yeah, well, the month is only 2 weeks. Let's see what happens the whole month of May.
Okay. Well, thanks to Brent Benedict from Noon Whistle for jumping on in. Mike, thanks to you as always. You got a show on Wednesday, right?
I do have a show on Wednesday. We're going to be talking a lot of Cubs, a lot of White Sox, talking a lot about the Bears this coming up week. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to talk about Mark Giangreco. We're going to talk about how Mr. Mark Giangreco ran into my dipshit brother on a flight back from Buffalo. That's going to be fun.
Nice.
And it'll be a good time. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait.
Okay, in weeks to come, I mentioned I'm going to talk to the guys from Workforce, guys from Whiskey Hill, guys from Dovetail Brewing. So we got a lot of other breweries coming up. We'll see you again next Monday night. It'll be May 9th. We'll have a discussion, see how the Cubs and Sox do, talk some more beer. Mike, I will see you, and I'm sure we'll tip a few this week.
Yes, lunch. We're going for lunch, Freddie. We're going for lunch. You don't have an option.
Yes, we are. If we go on Cinco de Mayo, can we not have tacos, or do we have to have tacos?
We got to have tacos.
Okay.
Tacos, no cilantro.
Okay.
Cilantro tastes like skunk ass.
It does, actually. It does. Appreciate it as always. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Huebs, Views, and Brews every Monday here on the 1252 Network. Take it easy.
Thanks, Brad. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to 1252 Sports Chicago.